What's in here? That's.
All right, now you can open it.
I'm thirsty.
Yeah. No, yeah. I bought some. You'll maybe remember this.
Is there something special?
Yeah, they're in there. Check it out.
A special treat.
I don't know if you'll remember this, but I was at Bevmo the other day and I picked up a few on the door, the bottom. Do you remember these? Balls. Oh, you remember these?
That's soda, right? That's like a
Yeah,
early energy drink.
It's like an
right?
early energy drink.
Damn.
Yeah.
This has got to be one of the original.
Dude,
Yeah.
I remember the bottles, those little nubs.
Yeah.
They twist off.
Yeah, I think they're twist off. Yeah. Yeah, so it's balls, BAWLS.
I'm glad it's something I can drink with gum in my mouth so I don't have to spit it out either.
It says twist off. It's right there. Right on the thing. It says twist
I think you need to
off.
work on your hand strength, bro. Ow, that hurts.
I know. See?
Ow. Fine. Use the old.
This is also an early twist off.
You got to use some energy to get some energy.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Were we rolling on that?
That is not good.
See if I can power it down.
You want to unplug it or no?
Wait, were we rolling on that?
Yeah.
Don't.
I don't think
We're
that's
still
going,
rolling.
though, right?
Huh?
Is that going?
Everything's going.
Wow, keep it.
That was pretty good, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, take a drink.
No, this show business.
Lick it off your keyboard.
I don't think they make waterproof MacBooks yet.
No, don't turn back on.
Oh no. That thing, it was on for like a full 2 seconds too.
Mine was worse because I just like came into the room.
Oh,
Like
your cat knocked it over.
over.
Yeah.
So I have no idea how long it was. It might have been like half an hour.
And it's not. It's like one thing if it was water. It's like this is a very
sticky,
sticky
It's viscous.
guana. Man, what did he just like touch this and it just fell and knocked over his drink?
Well, at least it was entertaining.
I guess it's like $1,000 mistake. I don't. Do you want like alcohol or anything?
Nah, it's fine.
Okay. It's good.
Look, the damage has been
Let's
done.
get some paper towels for this though. Yeah.
Get a straw.
Yeah. The keyboard's still working
Still good.
for now.
Pour some more on it. Might as well just give it the full test.
See how far this can go. Wow, that tastes like ginger ale kind of.
It tastes kind of like vanilla, I guess. Is that what the...
Did you change something with this?
Yeah. Now this is more upright.
Okay. It's not going to fall.
Hopefully not. Yeah, this doesn't taste like I remember how it tasting. Yeah,
I don't remember how it tasted, but...
You just remember the bottle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It tastes good, though.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It tastes kind of like that... what's that soda that they have at Jersey Mike's?
Oh,
Sprite?
Oh, I'm blanking on it. What is
What's
it?
the fucking name of it?
Gosh.
It's like cream soda.
Yeah. I know what you're talking. You're talking about the brand, though.
Yeah. It tastes a little bit like that to me.
Yeah, true.
It's almost...
Stubborn soda. That's
We're
what-
back.
That's right.
That's what we're thinking.
We are back.
We're back. Okay.
Back, yeah.
Little
Little mishap with some
technical
balls.
difficulties.
Balls were dropped when they shouldn't have been dropped.
Does this predate Red Bull?
Probably not.
Probably not.
I think Red Bull's probably been around since
It's
like,
before the
90s.
rise of Red Bull for sure.
Yeah.
Like Red Bull was probably around, but probably wasn't that big in America
this
yet.
was like 2003 or something.
Probably even before that.
Balls could have been like the next monster.
I remember we were like sophomores or juniors in high school.
Balls. And it's like this was the first thing where it's like it's more than just caffeine.
Yeah,
It's got a bunch of like other stuff in it.
Yeah.
Other ingredients.
Like energy
enhancing
drink.
herbs.
Yeah. And it just went nowhere. It's crazy they're still in business, I guess. I mean,
Yeah, there was a few flavors too. I just got the original soda when I was at Bevmo.
yeah, it went nowhere. Monster just fucking rocked there.
Yeah.
Do you guys actually notice if you drink like an energy drink? Do you notice like, whoa, like
I've never actually had a Red Bull or a Monster.
oh, really?
The only energy drink I had was that NOS
yeah.
drink, and like I felt
got,
my
like,
heart.
jittery? Oh, really?
No, I felt like my heart was beating like 4 times as fast.
Oh, really?
As it
Because
should
like
have been.
I drink a lot of caffeine, but I don't really like notice. Like, I can drink a Monster and just like
I think your body probably gets used to
I'm not
whatever.
like whoa.
Right? Yeah, you're not like amped up.
I wrote a paper and I drank like 3 Red Bulls over the course of like
Couple hours.
48 hours. Yeah. And it felt like it's like energy.
but not like whoa, I'm going out of my mind.
I mean, I wasn't like amped, but
Yeah.
I definitely felt something. It was
Yeah.
like keeping me awake and
Yeah.
suppressing my appetite. I don't know. I think it was effective. But I also think that kind of stuff, especially your whatever
kinda
in your brain chemistry responds to it gets used to it very fast.
Yeah.
Because there are people who have like at least one, sometimes two, like large Monster energy drinks
Per day.
every day.
Yeah.
They're
It's just like
not-
part of their routine.
Yeah, they're not like, oh, there it is.
Yeah, I need it. Yeah.
I mean, I'm that way with coffee. I get
Yeah.
used to it pretty quick. Okay, well, so cars. So
yeah,
I
cars.
just, I don't know how to reveal this. You bought,
Oh yeah, I bought a Civic Type R.
yes, Garrett bought a blue,
Boost blue.
yeah, arguably the best
Color.
color in contention with white. FL5 Type R. Paid MSRP. Can
Yes.
I reveal that?
Yes.
So,
Because I would not have bought the other one.
yeah. So they're kind of, I think all cars, like going into whatever 2021, is that when
Going into
cars
clown
started
world.
getting crazy? Yeah, clown world. New stuff, I would say like Supra, Civic Type R, and C8.
Well, the Civic Type R was
ZS6.
also one of because even before, it was pretty rare for them to move at MSRP.
Oh yeah, even
The last gen one?
pre-pandemic.
Even in like 20,
That's a good
because like
point.
I'm pretty sure I paid $1,000 over from
Yeah,
my
you
red
did.
one.
Yeah, you did.
Granted, that was a lot less money back then, but still, like that was like it's like I found one for $1,000 over.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I think that Civic though, even in we were just talking about like inflation. When did you buy that? 2017.
18, like fall of 2018. So
Even-
they'd already been around like a year and a half.
Even
by
in
then.
2018 dollars, what was that thing new? Like 33
No,
or
it was like
something?
36.
I think when it came out.
Oh yeah, well they like raised the
And they,
price,
like, gradually raised
like
it.
$800 every 6 months or something.
Yeah.
yeah.
That thing seemed absurdly cheap.
Yeah.
People right now, when the FL5 came out, they're like $43,000 for
Yeah.
a Civic. Like
Right.
that's crazy. It's like that seems.
Well, plus like I
Not
bet
that
like
expensive
a
to me.
base. I bet like the cheapest Civic you can buy like sticker price is probably like 27
Now.
I bet.
Oh, is it now? Okay.
I bet it's like close to that.
I remember like the sport
Maybe
touring
26.
we got in 2020 was 31 MSRP.
Yeah, so base is probably like 26, 27.
Probably
It's
not,
hard. It's hard to keep up with like what's appropriate and what isn't,
Right,
like
right.
money wise.
Yeah.
But anyways, that car at MSRP, we shot a little video and it's on Patreon.
Very exciting.
Yeah, a full review,
Full.
Yeah.
full driving review.
In depth.
But I think my biggest takeaway was just it for $44,000. It feels literally like E46 M3 driving experience. That's kind of like the closest thing that exists. 300-ish horsepower and like low 3,000 pound
Yeah.
weight for cheaper than that car was new 20 years ago.
And cheaper than a nice one would be today almost.
Yeah,
Well,
basically it's just cheaper
yeah.
than a nice one of those. And so when people say it's overpriced, to me that is just like still the king of value.
Well, another thing to consider is like at the same time, like 2015, like a Mustang GT, I think was like 32. I want to say, like when like the S550 came out.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
now I think I think a base Mustang GT is like 45.
Yeah, I feel like the age of just like, oh, it's just kind of a cheap pony car with a V8 and no options.
Yeah.
That's kind
That's
of gone.
Right. Like it still exists, but like it's not cheap.
Yeah, they just
Yeah.
don't. That car, the Mustang and Camaro toward its end, and Challenger. I feel like originally it was just like, hey, do you want like a V8?
Yeah.
Like, do you want a simple V8
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stick? And like, here's a platform in it.
Yeah, they did away with that.
And now it's just kind of like, do you want like kind of a luxurious,
Yeah.
like cool
Yeah.
sort of GT car?
Yeah, but I guess like if you look at it in the sense of like this Civic costs the same as like a base Mustang GT, like it kind of lines up.
the Civic Type R. you
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the older I get, the less and less shit I give about, it's not the right way to say it, the less and less of a shit I give about numbers and what's faster
Yeah,
than
yeah.
what and whatever.
Right,
and
right.
like, if you're racing,
Yeah,
whoever,
if you line up at the right,
if you line
if
up
you
with
catch someone in
who
the
and
right gear.
which fucking car's faster than what around what circuit, I always didn't care too much, but I kind of did.
Yeah.
Like, this is like a low 12-second car.
This
from
is
the
very.
factory. I
This,
mean,
very
that's still
this was a
kind of-
quick car.
Yeah.
I just drive cars now. It's like, how generally fast does it feel?
Right.
Yeah.
Through like second gear. That's like kind
That's
of all.
about it, yeah.
Like, I'm gonna do like a couple pulls
Uh-huh.
and decide if I like it or not, and like how does it sound. But yeah, the driving experience in that thing, I mean, I guess partly because I had driven your old one.
Right.
And so I kind of knew what it could possibly feel like.
Yeah. It's built from the same bones.
Yeah, I guess within, 20 feet of driving, that's like, yep, this thing's awesome.
Yeah.
It's like, well, let me see how it behaves at 10 tenths. You can just feel how kind of well executed it is. And to get that kind of feeling at what I think is cheap, 45 grand for a brand new car.
Relatively speaking. Yeah.
And to get that level of just kind of like competence.
Yeah.
Before you even start talking about like how nice the interior materials and the design, and all that stuff was just fine. It's good. But just to get something that feels that good to drive for that money is just a crazy accomplishment.
I think the thing about that car that I like and why I spent so much for it is like it's expensive, but it's like there's still not really anything like it. Yeah. There's nothing else that's like in the 40s that like is like super practical and like pretty fast and like really fun to drive that you can still like use as a family car. Like there's more or less nothing really.
I think the Corolla is less practical than a Civic.
Yeah, I mean the Corolla is not. I mean it's still
not
it's still
horrible.
a Corolla, but yeah. It just like the car that it's built on is just older and not as nice.
Right.
Yeah.
Which in a way is sort of endearing in a way, but
yeah, its funkiness is kind of part of its charm.
Right.
That car is a combination of what I'm just assuming the Civic Type R team is a team and not like, hey, Yoshi, and like, let's just kind of randomly assemble.
Yeah.
I have a feeling it's sort of like Team Corvette.
Right.
It's like, here's kind of the performance engineers.
Yeah.
But it's a combination of the team that is Team Civic doing such a good job after like generations of kind of getting better and better, and the performance team,
and they also had the previous one to like build upon. Like so the groundwork was kind of laid.
Not only is it this kind of award-winning pedestrian car, it's also this award-winning like performance sort of division, the merger of the two.
Well, I would say like I think what I told you is like the GR parts of the Corolla are probably like cooler and more impressive, like on their own. When you consider like they took a Corolla and added like this weird engine. And
you mean
like,
the sort of bespoke
like
GR additions?
like what they did to separate it from a regular Corolla.
Yeah,
is like cooler. You know, like they added this cool all-wheel drive system and this engine that's like not really in any other car. And, you know, all this kind of like trickery stuff. Well, the Type R, just like, this is like a better version of the Civic Type R.
Yeah.
So, like, in a way, they like compete head to head.
A better version of the Civic, you mean?
Yeah. But it's like, technically they're head to head, but like their personalities are really a lot different.
The GR to me feels like the Evo used to. Where it was like, it's just a coincidence that the Lancer was laying around.
And that was just what they used as like the vehicle.
They had an idea and they had a drivetrain, and it was like, what if we fucking put this in the Lancer kind of thing?
We'll use that as the wrapper.
And that's what the Corolla is like. It's like, what is this car? It's what?
Right.
Why is it like this, and why is it in a Corolla? And the Civic Type R just does not give off that feeling.
No.
It's like, oh, nice. This is the high performance version of the Civic.
Yeah.
It really feels like
it feels like an M3 next to like a 330i or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever it's called nowadays.
I honestly don't even know. But yeah, it just feels like I think the M3 is a good comparison, because the M3 to me feels like this is sort of the one you're supposed to buy if you have the money.
Right.
Yeah.
No matter who you are.
There's not really any drawbacks.
There's not really a drawback here other than
it's stick
money.
Yeah.
Even M3, most of them
are stick.
At least they were historically.
Yeah. I mean, a new one, it's like especially that automatic. It's not even dual clutch anymore. I don't think. I'm pretty sure it's not.
Really?
It's a
ZF.
ZF. They're all-wheel drive with a higher end. It's just like, this is just
more
amazing in every way, and it's clear that this was sort of how the car was designed to be. But it's expensive.
Right.
And that's kind of how that car feels. It's like, if you have the money and they're both sitting in front of you, why would you choose anything but the Civic Type R? Unless you just live in an area that snows so often. I mean, that doesn't even apply. It's more, if you're in the market for a Civic and you have the money, you should get the Type R.
Right.
There's no drawback.
Yeah.
Other than maybe it rides a little bit harsher, but it honestly in comfort
mode it felt identical.
I was shocked because all these fucking reviews were like, oh,
it's so stiff.
Yeah. It's so stiff. It's like I was ready for like a joke.
Yeah, like my Focus RS was like stiff.
Yeah.
Like noticeably stiff, but even then I was like, whatever.
That thing did not ride that stiff.
Yeah.
Even in Plus R.
Well, I'd be curious, like, what you would think about the Type S, like after
I know, because everyone's like, oh, this is posed.
This is like a Type R for the daily life.
Maybe
like,
it is. Maybe I would
feel
drive
like
that.
Super soft.
Yeah. Although I have to say now, honestly, after driving that, it makes me more interested in the Type S.
Really?
Yeah, because that thing.
It's just like supposed to be like a nicer version.
Well, my whole problem was like, it's such a special car, you know, like you want like the specialness of it. And now after driving that, I really don't want to say that doesn't feel special because it does.
Yeah.
That thing is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And I'd rather have that than a GR Corolla.
Uh-huh.
But its cohesiveness makes it a little less special.
Yeah.
And that special is just like
it's more refined, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know what the right way to capture it is, but since that feels that way, I'm kind of like, oh, well, just sure, add on some leather and whatever the Integra gets me. I kind of now want that.
Yeah.
Because that car, it's not like this thing's so raw and crazy and like visceral. Like the Integra doesn't make any sense. Why would you try to tone this down? It's like, no, I think the Integra is probably going to feel like even more of that.
Yeah.
You know, it's like here it's so cohesive and it's even a little bit quieter and rides better and whatever. So it kind of interests me.
I still don't think I've seen a single one of those.
I've not seen one. I think I have a memory of seeing a blue one, but I'm not sure. But anyways, I mean, I think the hype is real, but I think at the same time, a lot of the sort of like tuner boy hype is kind of not real because that car also, I mean, I guess I'm curious if you would modify it or not if you had a job that had nothing to do with cars.
Oh,
if you were just an accountant.
Even then, I don't think I would like, let's say I've got tires for it already if I want to use them.
Yeah.
That I had on the Corolla, I could just reuse them. So like maybe just put 18s. And like I heard like if you like remove one of the resonators in the exhaust, like it like wakes it up a little bit.
You can put the Integra Type S exhaust on it essentially.
That's
because
basically
they deleted the front resonator.
Yeah. And I can't really think of anything beyond that.
Yeah, it did. We mentioned it in the video. That motor is so funny because all this stuff is kind of the same complaint. It's like the better you get at something, the less sort of
notable
it is in some ways. It's like, yep, it's the perfect music album.
Yeah,
you know, it's just like it's perfect.
Yeah.
But in some ways, it's like, well, yeah, but I like this. I like them in the 80s when they weren't as good.
I like when they're kind of dumpy.
Yeah, I like their earlier stuff that's not as popular and not as good.
Yeah.
But it's sort of because whoever it was, it doesn't have to be music. It's because they didn't really know what the fuck they were doing.
Yeah.
Like,
it wasn't by design.
Yeah, I like the original unremastered Star Wars because they didn't take very good care of the film and because they didn't fucking know how to edit sound that well.
Yeah.
Like, I think especially as we get closer to like, you know, a lot of industries are moving this way. AI and EVs and all this stuff is sort of moving toward remove any sort of imperfection from the thing and just make it perfect.
Yeah.
And it's weird how much the imperfections are sort of the parts that make it noteworthy.
Right.
Yeah. They add the personality.
Yeah. It's like those are the parts that are necessarily human because they're mistakes.
Yeah.
Like they didn't know how to fix the turbo lag.
Right.
They just literally didn't fucking know how to do it. They weren't smart enough to do it. And that is quintessentially a human thing.
Yeah.
It's a machine wouldn't have fucked that up. You know, it would have been designed by AI and the power curve would have been perfect.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of weird as we move toward that sort of future in a number of ways.
Right.
It's like, no, I want the stuff that's not as good.
Yeah.
You know, like I want the
character.
I want the character. I keep seeing this fucking word raw.
I think
I mentioned it on a previous podcast.
You did, yeah.
And it has gotten 10 times worse. I'm seeing it everywhere. It's like raw, I prefer the old one because it's more raw, and I'm seeing it related to cars.
Yeah.
But
Well, you're on
like,
Bring a Trailer a lot.
it's not just Bring a Trailer; it's Bring a Trailer and Reddit. And Reddit tends to be very kind of like the crowd we make fun of. It's a lot of that kind of somewhere in the middle. It's just a lot. It's a lot of kids.
It's a lot. I think what it is, it's a lot of people that, like, their primary like drive for liking cars is all like influenced
Social
by the
media.
internet and social media. But
And
like we
yeah.
liked cars, and then just sort of like came into the internet because that's what you did.
Yeah, most of their opinions are formed by the internet.
So that you'll see, like, if there's like a big car reviewer, like whatever, like Jason Camisa or who
Doug,
Chris Harris, or Doug. Oh, Doug loved the like. Chris loved. Did you see Chris's video on the whatever? It's like, that's like, I like that stuff. It's entertaining, but the way they like put these guys on like a pedestal shows that like so much of it's just like influenced by like the kind of buzz around something.
And there's never been more opinions accessible.
Right.
So you can sort of like, I really like XYZ person.
Did you see what Camisa thought about the?
Yeah, he loves this thing.
Yeah.
But there are certain people, I don't know, Camisa gets a lot of, I don't really follow these people, but I am aware that he did a Cybertruck review
a few
that
months
people
ago.
fucking like hated because he like, and I watched it and he was, he did like the thing.
Right.
But then he also did a podcast. He has a podcast called like the Car Legend, which I have not listened to.
Right.
Most
Podcasts are pretty lame.
Yeah, most podcasts I don't like because it's very clear that they have sponsors, and it's like they're just not going to say something.
Yeah.
But not only that, but also most car topics, I think we just don't give a shit about.
Yeah, and like you're kind of always going to be like discussing the same thing. Okay, Timmy needs a car. Needs to have 4 doors. He wants some preferably with a stick. Right. All-wheel drive would be nice. What are you guys thinking?
Is the 911 ST the best car ever made? It's just like, I don't really care.
Yeah.
And so I haven't watched any of his episodes, but he did a podcast sort of review on the new Model 3 Performance. Which is such a weird fucking way that they launched that car.
Here it is.
Because they invited like 6 YouTubers to review it. And then when the embargo lifted, you now have like 6 sort of like identical
videos.
Excuse me. Yeah, videos, which are like a drive in like a Malibu canyon for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then like that's kind of it. Like they didn't, and they.
It's like a very controlled.
I think they're just now starting to ship, but it's like there's no coverage over this with the federal rebate, which fair enough. You can kind of say that doesn't count, but for a lot of people it does. This thing is like $46,000.
The exact same price as a Civic Type R,
and it's like a high 10-second quarter mile. And like a 3-second 0 to 60, and adaptive suspension. And it's like, this is legitimately a new M3,
right?
And I haven't seen a single. I haven't seen nothing about nothing other
I think
than
just
those
like
YouTube.
I think
videos.
just like the discourse around Tesla is just fucking heated.
Yeah, it's just so contentious.
It's just weird. I mean, whatever. But
well, so anyways, he did like a podcast talk about it,
about the Model 3,
about the Model 3 Performance. He went and drove it, and I'm not even sure if he did a video or not. But it's just like 45 minutes of him in this format, talking about it, and it's so much better than
a 6-minute video.
Because he's just talking about like just unrelated shit, things that are not that entertaining for a video,
right?
But they work for spoken word, when you're just sort of musing about something. And so there are really nice like nuggets of car opinion.
No, I'm not saying those guys are bad. I just it's more like just the way they influence car culture is like kind of a new. It's like a whatever Zoomer.
And it's also like weird because it's such a experience-based hobby. And they have most of these people have experienced so few.
Like they've experienced everything, but only through YouTube. Like.
Yeah, well, they don't directly.
Right.
Like, they don't actually draw. Like I'd prefer, like there's a lot of like I really don't like the C8. Because it's automatic, and I prefer the raw driving experience of the C7.
For me, it's got to be a stick.
It's like either of those.
I was gonna say they probably haven't driven either.
Like the C7's raw. Like it's just such that term to get back to. So mad at that term. That is the new steering feel. Raw. It's just like this car's more raw. It's like what does that mean?
Right.
It vibrates more. Like it's like the least descriptive I think I get what they're saying.
Right.
It's just like such a moving goalpost.
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, why aren't 80s cars more popular? Like, those are fucking raw. Yeah, you want
Those are the raw of the raw.
Like, oh, actually, but I only like things from like 2016 and up.
Yeah.
The rawness.
Yeah.
It's also like when they revealed the new 4Runner. It was the same thing. It's like the embargo lifted, and there was like 20 YouTube videos, all of the same thing.
Yeah, it's kind of
none of them got to drive it, right? Or
for like a minute there was kind of like car YouTubers like, here's the source of sort of new opinions outside of the major magazines.
Yeah.
And just not overnight, but over a number of years, manufacturers have now just like fucking pussy whipped all of these. They just fly them all out to this like very
resort,
kind of like curated
they give them
little
like,
experience.
Here's your route. Like,
and they give them some like
here's like the trail that you're going to run that we've gone on like 50
pineapple
times ahead
picks.
to make sure like
we've moved boulders out of the way to make sure we're capable of clearing them.
And in some ways that's fine, but it's just kind of funny because so many of these people, like 3 or 4 of them, have actually accumulated wealth because of this. Like they're actually doing well because of YouTube or because of their platform. Most of these people just never really, this is a job and they're like, sort of making ends meet.
Maybe,
And so you're getting flown out by Mercedes and you're kind of poor.
Right.
It's not like, man, I don't care about the hotel.
Even I felt like that, like when I was like covering like races and stuff. Like I would like, you go to things like, oh, you're in the like media VIP lounge. It's like I'm making like $40,000 a year or whatever.
Well, exactly.
Like it feels living
the lifestyle.
Like it feels cool. Like
it is totally cool.
Like you're around this like super cool stuff.
But but you're not gonna be like, you know what? Fuck this. They tried to give me some fucking hors d'oeuvres, but they can't hide the fact that the exhaust note on this thing sounds like garbage. Like, you're gonna draw in, you're gonna herd all these like mid 20-year-old journalists. And of course, they're going to say a bunch of fucking nice stuff. And so
because they want to get invited to the next event.
Yeah, they want to. This is their career. They're not trying to make waves. And so you just end up with we're back to like, now there is no independent. It's like, okay, now we actually have to wait like months and months for the 4Runner to get out. For somebody to like actually get their hands on one.
Right.
And like start hearing some, because the 4Runner was released. And then it kind of feels like, well, but we still don't really know.
There was like this huge blip, blip of information, and then now we have to wait 6 months. For
it's like I know what it looks like, and I know kind of like what the trim levels are. And I know like
it was the same thing. Like before I bought my Jeep Grand Cherokee 4xe, like they had the huge press event back in like February of 2022. And the car was supposed to come out summer. But it was delayed, and so like I'm sitting here in like October. I've already put in my order. And I'm just waiting. Like, I'm watching videos from like a year ago, and like, I'm like, the car's probably going to be way different when it comes out, because it's built to a different spec.
The worst thing that I don't like about those is like every one of those channels like acts like it's like their videos are presented where like the viewer, like that's all they watch. It's like, well, I watch whatever.
I think we've said this.
So it's like
you've never heard of this car before.
And you only watch videos
coming to me for the first time.
So under the hood.
Let's lift up the hood here. This is a 2-liter.
So it'll be like, but like the video will be 20 minutes, and like 7.5 minutes is like
so this stuff, a bullet point.
Get to the fucking here's the spec sheet. Which again, I think
it's gonna be offered in 3 trim levels.
That made sense when there weren't a lot of people doing that. And so those ones made sense. But then the more people who have added into it are copying those other ones. It's like, well, what's the frame? It's just crazy to me how the lack of creativity, how is that fucking still just free to put anything out there? You can do whatever the fuck you want.
Well, you're just going to go the path of least resistance.
It's just like, what's out there? We could do that. And like, it's crazy because it's like, it's the internet, it's YouTube. There's a billion fucking videos out there, and you want to learn about. I mean, there are quite a few. It's great. You can do it for almost any car. But at the end of the day, it's like there's like 3 decent ones in just a field of trash. And so it's like, this isn't necessarily better.
Sometimes I like want to know something about a car, and I'll like wind up on some weird like, why am I watching this again?
This
like, what is this telling me?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what the like solution is, but it's kind of just making me like cars sort of. I don't know if I want to call it the hobby, because the hobby is sort of owning and driving them.
Yeah.
The hobby of like sitting around and bullshitting on the internet is just getting worse and worse.
Yeah,
I feel like because it's just getting filled with like NSX nostalgia.
Yeah.
And then like the Bring a Trailer crowd, which I'm glad we made fun of Bring a Trailer early.
Day one.
Yeah, day one haters.
Yeah.
Because it has just exacerbated a certain type of enthusiasm that has only been negative, other than maybe preserving. I don't even think it's done that. It's just like, okay, cars are now viewed as an investment.
Yeah.
Just full stop.
And
people think of them as a dollar amount.
And I guess it's taking cars have always been like a status symbol.
Yeah.
But it's kind of made them like status symbols in these weird ways.
Yeah, it's no longer just wealth or not.
Yeah. It's like taste. It's like
taste.
Yeah. It's like taste and how much you know or something.
It's essentially it's what Barrett Jackson did for 20 years, but now people can comment on it.
Barrett Jackson feels a little more natural. Like that's just kind of like I had one of these in high school. Like
maybe it's because it was mostly, wasn't Barrett Jackson only a certain.
It was it was an auction thing, but like and then people would go to their like forums and probably say the same thing. But now it's just like it's given people a hub to just gather around.
I think Barrett Jackson was just early,
and
Bring a Trailer just expanded whatever worked about that.
Yeah,
just
exactly. Like gave it to the everyday man.
It was like Sentras could also, and so the problem is. Its final form, or I don't know, it could probably get much worse than this, but where it is now is literally pick a car.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Any current auction, and half of the comments are just about how special these are.
Yeah.
And like and most of them are like, I have one. It's just turned into this fucking gross, and it's 100% about trying to make the value go higher.
Yeah.
That's the worst part. It'd be one thing if it was just
like that, and trying to make people feel good about what they have, like kind of
justifying. But again, I kind of think that comes back to money.
No, it's definitely related, but just like you want to feel good, like you want other people to like make you feel good about what you have.
You want to feel like a big man.
Yeah. Oh, everybody should drive one of these. I also have one.
Yeah, and it's not like I want people to know I'm rich. It's like I want people to know that I have good taste. Like, I'm not just one of those guys that likes the flashy stuff.
Yeah, it's like
I appreciate the like 03 Tacoma with low mileage.
I think what it is because they're constantly on there. It's not just like, oh shit, 2000 Cobra R.
Yeah.
I remember these. Here's my story about them. It's like, there's one every month.
Yeah.
And so the conversation is going to naturally turn into like, these things are sleeping giants value-wise. Like it's just, there's no more stories because I posted my story back in 2019.
Buy this now, regret it later.
Yeah, now it's just like excellent buy. Like sit on this for a few. It's just all speculative. It's like a fucking stock trading forum now.
Yeah,
mixed with like faux
car
like these things. If you're looking for every car, I mean literally, I'm not joking. Like pick any car you've ever been interested in, find an auction for it and read the comments, and over half of it is just going to be like these are just like totally slept on. These are some of the best car driving experience wise. You cannot do better. Yeah, it's just like fuck, man. It's such a turn off. And so I don't know. You can't really like fault younger kids for getting into it and just being like, I love how raw these are, just like these things are so slept on. It's like they're basically like repeating the messages from the Bring a Trailer crowd. So I don't know. It's kind of like
soured.
I don't know what it's doing to me. I mean, I guess I think I'd be more upset if I was younger and just watching some of the cars that I really wanted to own kind of take off in value. Yeah, because I feel like at least we're of the age where it's like, well, I sort of had my fun with a lot of the stuff that's now like I would not pay.
Unobtainable.
Yeah, it's not that's unobtainable. It's just like, well, if you ever want to own a WS6, like good luck, because you have to fucking pay like 25 or 30 grand for it.
Yeah,
where you used to be able to just find them for like 12,
10,
and kind of like beat on it for a summer or whatever, and move on.
Then get your money back.
Yeah, and so a lot of them are just like never going to be able to own these cars.
Right. Yeah.
They're just going to be cars that they like hear about.
Speaking of NSX, did you guys watch that Senna trailer? I think I sent it to you. Like that
There's a new Senna movie?
Well, it's that
a TV
Netflix.
show.
It's a
right?
Netflix.
I didn't watch it, but I heard about it.
Oh, okay. God, it looks so bad.
It's like a drama, right? Like a
It's
fictional,
like a
not
mini
fictional.
series
Yeah,
or something. I don't know how many episodes it's going to be, but it's on Netflix.
Wonder how it's going to end.
There's a stupid trailer. It's just like him.
Is
Just,
he driving an NSX?
No, it's
That was just your
it's,
segue
It's just
into-
like I think it's just him driving like a Formula One car. You know, it's just like a shot of his eyes, and then it's like flashes to like how he got there and all. You know, it's really the trailer makes it look so dumb.
The car becomes an extension of your
Yeah.
fingers. That's how I drive.
Yeah.
Honestly, Senna might be like the most like.
It was sweet when that movie came out.
No, but I mean, like Senna is probably like the like what Coin was just saying. How
The
like
most like
Yeah.
idealized.
yeah, because like I don't feel like I was like 9 when he died or something. So it's like
Yeah.
I don't know. I have like zero. Like I'm sorry, I wasn't like a 7-year-old like Formula One. I mean, maybe there was.
Yeah.
But like, if you were born like in like the late 80s or later and like idolizing Senna is kind of weird.
Yeah.
You're just like, I idolize this guy that like everyone told me to idolize.
Yeah, that's
like,
basically
yeah.
Senna is basically the air-cooled 911
Yeah.
of like celebrity figure.
Well, I was gonna say,
steering feel on
he's
Senna.
the Kurt Cobain of car drivers.
Kurt Cobain is fucking awesome though. Like that.
But I just mean
music
like there's
is,
still like 16, 20-year-olds that wear like Nirvana t-shirts. And
Yeah.
It's like they probably can't name, I can't even name 3 Nirvana songs
Yeah.
really. Like, I mean, they were cool at the
But
time.
at least that was like distinct.
Yeah, I feel like if you listen to Nirvana now, you're like, this fucking rips.
Yeah.
Like this is like
Yeah.
good by today's standards. And maybe Senna is that way, but it's more just I feel like because he had some celebrity, we have the benefit of him having some interviews where he talks about like
and the fact that he was like taken out in his prime.
Yeah,
feeling
you didn't get to see him
emotion.
age.
Yeah. There was
he-
no like, there's no like 1999. Like,
Yeah.
Senna's like trying to qualify
Right.
for whatever.
Yeah, he's holding on to the last.
Yeah.
I think he's I would say Senna's a little more like Tupac.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that because both undeniably talented,
Right.
Yeah.
for sure, but both maybe a little too celebrated
Hyped
post what is it
Postmortem.
postmortem.
Yeah.
I think totally deserving of a lot of credit, but
Right.
maybe a little
love
bit.
Tupac.
Yeah, look, I love Tupac. I still play plenty of
I
Tupac.
celebrate all of his songs.
Yeah.
California love.
Yeah, but when you go back and it's like, I'm going to play some Tupac, it's like, really, there's about 3 songs here, you know, that like really hold up. And it's really just the intro to 2 of them and like the hook of
And then,
the other one.
you find out that like the beat or like the main melody is like from like the 80s.
Sampled.
So yeah, it's from like some 80s.
Sampled from like an infomercial. No, it's fine. Both of them are fine, but it's kind of thing where it's like,
Yeah.
it becomes just more than maybe it was at the
Yeah.
time, or I'm not sure, but I like the Senna story, but I think just so much of it is people trying to relate.
But it's like you basically have to be like 50 years old to have like remembered his career.
Yeah, like
as
watched him.
as
Yeah.
like anything but like a little kid.
I think that if Vin Diesel had died instead of Paul Walker, Vin Diesel would be remembered as Senna.
Yeah.
Like I think that one's pretty good. That's a good way to tie it together. It'd be like, because Paul Walker was actually pretty talented, but even that one, I feel like Paul Walker gets a little too. Paul Walker and the R34 Skyline both get like Sena'd a little too hard, where it's like gone too soon. He was a legend. It's like he's a nice guy.
Yeah. Did some cool stuff.
Yeah, but it's mostly just like Vin trying to like pump his image so that he can
Take the ratings.
Yeah. Remember Paul Walker? Well,
This is how
I
he
was
would've-
his best
This is how
friend.
he wanted it.
Yeah. If you like him, you like me. Yeah, I don't know. A lot of
He always told me he wanted Fast 11 set in like Rio de Janeiro.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm taking the franchise in the direction
Wait,
that Paul always wanted.
did I
to.
send you these? I was trying to find out if Dominic Toretto had a middle name.
No.
Oh,
the
no,
like,
you didn't-
fictional character?
Yeah.
Did you find it?
So I looked it up and I didn't see anything, but it was there's like this like there's like Wikipedia
Yeah,
for
there's
like
like a fact
fictional
wiki.
worlds.
Yeah.
I looked at it and it had like all of his places of residence. It was like Los Angeles, California, like Rio de Janeiro, like all these like
Yeah,
kind of
where he's traveled. Where he's
like all his various like bases of operation.
Right.
His bases. Yeah, when he changed from being like a shop owner to a CIA operative.
Yeah, when he went from stealing DVD players.
Yeah, he was
to
like
fucking-
deep in the Congo, like fighting guerrilla warfare, or whatever the fuck. I mean, I haven't even seen the latest.
Yeah, I
ones.
stopped at 7. I haven't seen any of them past 7.
Yeah, I watched 7.
I think I've seen parts of 7.
No, you saw the whole thing.
That's the one where they like, where Paul dies,
That's the one.
right?
Yeah. Well, no, that's the one. He doesn't die in the movie,
But like they
that's-
meet, that's
he died
with like
during
the scene at
filming.
the end.
Yeah.
I haven't seen.
iconic
I've seen that
scene.
scene. I haven't like watched the entire movie.
Yeah,
Missing out.
I don't think.
I don't know what I know that I've seen 7, but I don't remember.
I remember that.
Yeah, I
part,
remember.
But I don't really remember anything else that comes before.
Obviously, I remember that. That first
that
one,
one song just cost us so much money.
I feel like we say this a lot, but I've watched the first one in its entirety recently.
Oh, it's so
me
good.
too.
And I'm not like a watch old movies kind of guy.
Yeah, nostalgia.
Yeah. I was just like, oh, Fast and Furious is on HBO Max or something. And I was watching it, and it's fucking like 5 minutes in, you're like, this fucking hits.
Yeah.
Still,
Yeah.
like the pace of this movie.
Yeah.
It's just like well done.
It's the right
in a
amount of
way.
like a bit of realism.
Yeah.
At least it's like believable.
It is so good. And then you think of where the fucking series went. I mean, I guess they tried to recreate it with 2. I don't really remember.
Yeah.
I watched.
Two
Started to watch.
was more of like a buddy cop.
Was it?
Two is kind
Two
of
was like that's when Tyrese and
they
Paul
kind of
Walker,
introduced some of like
team up as like buddies.
a little bit of like the comedic.
Yeah.
They like laid the ground for a little bit like a little bit of silliness.
Yeah, 1 just stands alone.
Yeah.
Like it's
and they're like hired to like do like a like a undercover heist
Right,
kind of
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
And that's like kind of where like
It's a little
it
sillier.
goes off the rails a little bit. It's not.
And then I kind of liked 3 too. I don't know if I actually finished it.
Tokyo Drift.
Yeah, but I started
3's
watching
good,
Tokyo
like
Drift. I was
but
like,
the
this is actually pretty good.
Tokyo Drift has like nothing to do with the rest of the franchise.
They were just
No,
like,
it's
where
pretty
else can we go
Yeah.
with this?
But that was made like what 5, 6, 7 years after the first 2.
I think it was made like 06.
They
yeah,
like
about
it
5
kind of that
years
was like
after.
kind of like a reboot almost.
Then Vin came like crawling back after that.
I know.
On his
You realize
hands
like
and-
the rest of his career wasn't
hands and
going.
knees.
Yeah, because
He's
he did
go-
like Triple X
he's
and
like no, like
I can't really do anything else.
Dude, I fucking watched a scene from Triple X, which I'd never seen before.
Yeah.
It's like it's fucking Dominic Toretto.
Oh, yeah.
He has 1 gear.
Yeah, it's true.
He was even doing the like
family.
Yeah,
He's even doing the like wide. He's
I'm in
like,
your face.
Yeah.
He's in like a white t-shirt.
I've never seen any
This
Triple
guy-
X. What was the other one? Like Pitch Black or Chronicles of Riddick?
Oh, yeah,
right,
yeah.
yeah.
He was in all.
I kind of get them mixed up.
Yeah.
Riddick
Yeah,
and
he
Triple
tried.
X.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
actually a big. Nah, you're not.
Yeah.
You're fucking.
Daddy daycare. or
I mean,
whatever
he had one sort of character, and I think Fast and the Furious just fit it the best.
Right.
It's like, yeah, maybe you're not a superhero. Let's maybe not cast you in that direction.
Yeah.
Let's just put you as like
You're a regular guy doing
sort of
superhero
strong
type
man.
things.
relatable tough guy
Yeah.
to a lot of people in the planet who maybe dress similar.
And he also has like
Sort
he,
of
he also has kind of like the perfect like ethnicity.
Yeah,
To
he's
be
just
like,
kind of like
he's just like a dude.
I think a lot of people can look at him on screen and
See
fi-
yeah.
find sort of some sinews,
Yeah.
some stronger
Is
than
like he's
the
supposed
other.
to be like Italian or like part
I think he's
Italian?
just kind of.
I don't know. I mean, that's kind of an Italian
think he's
name.
just
Yeah.
Dominic Toretto.
I think like his dad was Italian and his mom was like. maybe from
I literally did until you
Colombia
were
or
like, yeah,
something.
Toretto, he's Italian. I was like, get the fuck out of here.
I mean, that makes sense.
It's like,
his dad was at least.
yeah, as far as he would have you believe, it's like Puerto Rican.
Part Cuban.
Yeah, he's like Cuban and fucking some sort of like Latinx. I mean, the whole series is like, it's like super Italian grandma is like going home to, Dominic, you come home, pasta. Yeah, like if you watch the first movie, they're like living in LA, like
Drinking
barbecuing
Corona.
chicken.
Yeah.
But
Living
there's
in East LA.
nothing.
Corona. Yeah, drinking
Yeah.
Coronas.
They're
Yeah.
clearly trying to. And it was early 2000s. It was kind of like hot at the time to. Wasn't that when like kind of Latin flavor was getting
of,
wrong?
yeah.
Yeah.
Remember starting to get
Yeah,
kind of
like
like
Sean Paul and
and,
what was the other guy?
Ricky
Pitbull.
Ricky Martin.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Was that kind of era where it was like, yeah, it's
Yeah.
sort of I feel like he kind of like caught the
Macarena.
Kind of bridged
tail of
bridged
that
the
a little
gap.
bit and then like carried it forward. I mean, he's still pretty.
Where Paul Walker was like a distinctly like Orange County kind of guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was a surfer
Yeah,
kid.
yeah.
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 Well, I'll transition. I told Garrett this yesterday. I was going to save it for the cast, but me and Garrett hung out yesterday, so I ended with his dad, so I dropped the news. But Jeep update.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the other news.
Yeah. The other name.
You'll have to, I don't even remember.
No,
the
I'm just kidding.
The other.
No, I meant like the very personal,
very personal.
kind of
news.
embarrassing. Yeah.
The personal transition.
Right, yeah. Sway bar clunk. It's back.
Whoa.
Shocking. I know. Stellantis product.
Damn.
Yeah, it like started, I don't know, 2 weeks ago. And again, it's only after I drive the car for like 20, 25 minutes straight. And then it just starts clunking again. So,
Womp womp.
yeah.
But I just let it roll. How many
Yeah.
miles are on that thing?
14,000, something like that.
I just had this image of working in like a big three car as just kind of like nobody's really like into their job or whatever.
Yeah.
Like who designed the fucking sway bar? You know, is he like, oh damn it, it's still not working. I've got to fix it.
Yeah, I
Is he
don't
just
know.
like, yeah. Jim,
Fuck
did
it.
you
Ship it?
Jim, did you hear that sway bar thing still fucking like, yeah, shut up.
Yeah.
Nobody liked that thing. I mean, I don't know, like do people who go to school to be engineers want to work at like Stellantis or whatever, or is it
I would think there's like,
because their passion in the workforce there? Or?
I mean, at least for like the design part, maybe not like the longevity team.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, I just wonder like what kind of like resources are available to those.
Well, you would think like they would be excited about working on a Grand Cherokee because that's kind of like one of the flagship models
product.
where it's like if you get put on the Hornet or whatever the new one is,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
supposed to I think
Good
sucks.
Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't the Hornet an EV?
I think it's a hybrid.
Yeah.
So has everyone completely walked back the EV thing? I know GM
More-
was like
more-
no
More or less.
gas cars after 2030. That's done, right?
Yeah.
I think so.
think
They
so.
were like,
Pretty much
oh,
admitted.
well, actually, we were
We'll reevaluate.
we were just joshing with you
And then wasn't Dodge also like we're not going to develop?
to a degree. Yeah, and then they all like.
They were walking
Well,
back,
actually,
yeah.
we still have some room for.
Yeah,
like,
there were a few
hybrids and-
like Jeep models that were supposed to be all electric that they're walking back.
And they're just not doing.
Well, they're coming out, but they're just going to be other powertrains available for that model.
I think that they are just going to EV sales for those manufacturers are just going to be like
plateaued.
no, they're just always going to be like 5 to 10%.
Yeah,
I just don't think they can do it. I literally don't think they can pull off.
I think
a
just like
compelling
I think
EV.
I feel like they've even like taken themselves by surprise, and I think the like weird fucking car market of like 21 and 22 kind of like twisted stuff, like which was like probably like some pretty poor like foresight. With when like every car was selling over sticker price, there was just this kind of frenzy around everything.
Yeah, like no
And
matter
they're just
what
like-
the car was,
they're
it was
just like
flying off
they're
the lot.
like
yeah.
there's like an insatiable appetite for like electric SUVs.
yeah.
And like we need to fill it. And like this is going to the moon, baby.
I don't know, man. I think it either, like we've said before, either they were just purposely sort of like, well, this is what we have to do, so we're just doing it, and their heart just totally wasn't.
We don't have a
fucking in it.
choice.
Yeah, they just did not have a choice, or they were literally just so stupid that they looked at like Tesla's sales numbers
Yeah.
and just like EV share in America sales numbers. They looked at like 3 years worth of data
Yeah.
and extrapolated the line up and was like, oh, we
It's probably a mixture of both.
like, but without thinking like the product needs to be like affordable and compelling.
Right.
Because how are they so off on like price predictions?
Well,
And
I don't really think there's anything bad with the product per se, aside from the part that like it's expensive and it's electric. Like
there's just no interest.
it's like an F-150 Lightning like does everything that you'd want from like an electric pickup truck.
Yeah, it's just
like,
expensive.
like, there's nothing like
Well, now
non-competitive
they're
about it.
I mean, I guess I just don't know. Now they are cheap, I think.
Lightning.
Yeah, I think you can finally get them like under MSRP.
Oh, probably, but
something.
but they've raised the MSRP by like 20 grand.
Yeah, but for the first however long, I really think a big part of it was just dealers fucking
that's
trying to
that's
like, oh, you want one? Like, too bad.
Yeah,
and then now people are like, well, fuck, fine. Like, I don't care anymore.
That's certainly
like, please come back and
drive
drive this thing. And frankly, like whatever it is about EVs, the Lightning should already be in like its second model year.
Generation.
You need to, people basically in their minds just hear electric and they think like phone generations. And like it just needs to be like constantly updated or something, because to me the Lightning, even though it's still kind of new, it's like, man, like,
well, but if you think of it in terms of just being like, it's an F-150 that's electric. Like, I don't really know what else they could have done.
Yeah.
Like, except for the fact that it's like 60 grand and fucking goes 200 miles before you're like, oh fuck.
Yeah. Oh, I better not tow with this. Yeah. I think for as much like shit as people give the Cybertruck, in hindsight or in like now sight, it's like, kind of needs to be very different.
I think it delivers on
get a Ram.
It delivers on like what you theoretically want from an electric truck, I guess.
Yeah, I think
the kind of person that wants to buy an electric truck like wants something.
They want to stand out.
It's like, do you want a gas F-150 or an electric F-150? Is kind of a weird decision.
Yeah.
You're like, why are you offering me the electric one?
Exactly.
Like, why would I ever pick that? Where do you want a gas truck? Do you want a gas F-150 or a Cybertruck? It's totally an actual question. It's like, well, let's actually think about what I'm buying here and why.
Yeah.
Where I don't know. I feel like I think you're right. I think the Lightning was a great product. Yeah, it just was not a product that anyone wanted.
Yeah, it's just like it's not. I don't think that any of them are really limited by execution. It's just like, that's just fucking nature.
Well,
like,
I think execution though,
unless there's a part of execution that involves like knocking $30,000 off the price.
I think that's the problem, is you have to engineer to such a fine degree. Like, I think that the new Model 3 is still an extremely compelling product, but its simplicity, I think, makes it look easy. It's like, well, everyone should build EVs then. It's like, no, it was not easy for them to...
Like, the company is like built around that.
Yeah,
like, the entire company is like structured around building
exactly.
that car.
And so I think it was kind of misleading.
And,
maybe
being able to sell it while like still making money.
Yeah, they're the only ones who are like turning a profit on an EV, maybe in the world.
Yeah.
But it was so drastic and purposeful to get there.
Yeah.
But then the end result, I think, looks easy. And it's like, oh shit, these things are easy to make and they're selling like hotcakes.
We can crank these out.
Like, everyone should make one. And just like, any manufacturer, when you're like, did you see the new like electric Acura SUV? It's like, I couldn't be less interested in a vehicle than a traditional manufacturer's sort of like response to Tesla. Basically like,
this is
the last fucking thing I want to buy is Acura, where I'm just imagining the techs at the dealership, they don't fucking know.
No, they don't know anything.
Something broke on this thing. Know how to fix this. They're not set up for this. I mean, maybe they are, but
like the amount of money that they lose on each one of them is just like wild. It's like, I think, what was it, like Ford? It was like they lost however many billions on like their electric. It's like, it was just like barely eclipsed by their profits on like gasoline trucks.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that works. They're like, they lose $100,000 on every F-150. I feel like I should know this, but those metrics are never. It's not like it's not like it costs $100 grand. No, it's like they're factoring in a bunch of stuff and like dividing it by the numbers sold, which is kind of misleading. But it's just like. And you know what? Let's set aside the fact that it's very easy to say I told you so. Because, of course it was. And going into this, everyone was like, what? You're transitioning. What? This doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And now, we're not even like 20 years on the other side of it. We're like two. It's like 24 months later.
Well, do you remember when Toyota, people were like, Toyota, you're asleep at the wheel here.
Yeah, you're not going into EVs. Yeah.
Like, all these other companies are going to eat your fucking lunch.
That pendulum is all over the fucking place, because it's like Toyota, old, so slow and conservative, like everyone's going to eat. And then kind of last summer to nowish, it's like, oh, they're killing it with hybrids. They were so smart the whole time. But now I'm seeing like Toyota is deeply like behind on EVs. It's almost like swinging back.
They don't really know what to say.
Yeah, it's just like
watch out for all these Chinese EV brands.
Well, I think that my personal belief is the economics of an EV are only going to get more and more favorable. And gas powered cars are kind of plateaued on like how efficient you can make them. And EVs are just going to keep getting cheaper and cheaper to make, nicer and nicer. And so I do think that over time, there's going to be a point where it's like a comparable EV to whatever the same gas powered car is like 10 to 15% cheaper. And then that will change everything. Because right now it's like more expensive.
A lot.
No,
it's a lot more.
Well, they're like way cheaper right now.
EVs or gas powered cars?
EVs are.
Oh, because they're marked down so much?
Because they're so like, you could fucking get like a $50,000 like Nissan whatever or a Hyundai. You can like lease one for like $220 a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean more the ones that have like a direct, like if they made like a RAV4 hybrid or RAV4 EV.
Yeah, I mean they sort of do with that like BZ whatever, but just like
but that thing sucks.
Well, but I mean, they all kind of suck.
I mean something totally equivalent for however that would look. Range, whatever.
I think
if they were equal price right now, you'd go gas.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think it's like what you said with the F-150. Like, why if like since like you can have an electric RAV4 or like a hybrid RAV4, and they're both $45,000. Like, I'll take the electric. Like, why would you?
But I think if the Lightning was like $40,000 and the comparable gas truck was 60. It'd be a lot different. Yeah,
but I mean,
I think that's where we're headed.
But I think a lot of it's going to, because like, let's say you can get a $50,000, you can lease like a $50,000 EV, whatever, for like half the price of like a $28,000 Camry.
Yeah.
Right now, like just like payment. Well, like I want to get a new car. Like
I think that you are right in that you can create that scenario.
Right. But I think
because of government incentives.
And I think it also ties into like people not really seeing like an EV as like a car that they're going to own
for a long time.
Yeah,
like a Camry. You're like, well, like my family's going to have this for 20 years.
It's so weird because from what I can see, now they're getting some age. A Model 3 lasts.
They hold up pretty well.
As long as a gas powered car, if not better.
Yeah.
But people see them that way. It's like, oh, when you buy it, it's sort of just immediately, it's like an iPad.
Yeah, it's like 5 years tops.
Buy a used iPad. Like, you don't want a used electronic.
The next gen is coming out,
Yeah, but then I was thinking, it's like my Camry is about to turn 200,000 miles. And it's like, it's essentially worthless. It's a $4,000 car. And that's because it's a Toyota, so it's worth more than, if it was a Altima, it'd be worth $2,000 or something.
Yeah.
It's like, all cars are worthless at 200,000 miles. But there's something about EVs that, and I think that's going to change too. I think this is a very good time to buy a used EV.
Yeah.
I think the market is undervaluing used EVs because it's like, oh, the battery and you don't know.
Yeah.
And I don't know that I would necessarily buy one from Hertz or whatever.
Yeah.
But it seems like right now people are just like, if it's used, it's sort of just like trash.
Right.
Yeah.
And because Tesla responded so quickly to the drop in material prices and lowered their prices, which people got upset about because it pushed the used prices down.
Right.
I think people kind of think that's going to continue.
It's just like this never-ending slope.
Yeah, they're just always going to be worthless. And I just don't think that's really going to happen. I think that things are going to normalize a bit. And I think a lot of used EVs right now are kind of being underpriced.
Yeah,
compared
they're
to,
definitely cheap.
I mean, you can buy like a nice Model 3 after a rebate in like the high teens or something, and that was like a $40,000 car. So I don't know, it's just kind of a weird moment. But anyways, getting back to a few minutes ago, I do think still in the next, like, I think the trend's going to continue. I don't think it's like, well, we tried EVs and it didn't work. I think it's just much slow. People thought it was going to be like next year, gas is done,
it's here.
But I think that is the trend, and I think it will continue. It's just going to be probably slower than a lot of people thought. But I think it will go in that direction. And they're only going to get cheaper.
Yeah.
Because right now it's kind of weird. Right now it's like,
they don't really bring a whole lot to the table.
You got to, there's still advantage. I mean, you lived with one. Did you get rid of your Model 3?
Yeah, I sold it. I actually just sold it private party a couple weeks ago.
part of the
I
problem
hate
is
Tesla.
Yeah, I'm back on.
Yeah.
Part of the problem is California's energy costs are so
Stupidly expensive.
Stupid fucking expensive.
Yeah.
It's like we worked it out. It's literally the equivalent of like high 30s to 40 mile per gallon gas car
So
is about the same.
It's like
as an
unless
EV.
although I guess like some people have like
maybe higher,
or some people are like, well, I charge for free at my work every
unless
day.
you have
Like,
solar.
But again, like but still like
changes a lot.
that's not really like a fair. You can't just say like my work gives me gas.
Yeah,
and
right.
That's why like, this car is better. Like,
I think that's just California though. I think a lot of other places have like much cheaper energy,
but they also have cheaper gas too.
They also have cheaper gas. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Anyways, I just think it's just not obvious right now.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you never have to gas station and
The funniest
immediate
thing
torque
for me about the Tesla, like to me, like the least impressive thing about it was that it was electric. Like
it's just
to me,
so
it's like-
cohesive.
it's like
from software
like
to
everything else is like what it was. So it was like excellent at.
everything was integrated.
Just
and
like the way
thought
like
out.
it updates. Like
Yeah.
it's like like your car updated and like.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I want to see where my wife is. Like, oh, let me just look on the app and like, oh, there she is. Like, there's like the
Let me limit her speed.
let me see what song she's listening to.
Yeah.
Let me change her radio station.
Let me make the car.
Apparently,
make a
they're
fart
now
noise.
making like teen profiles and
Oh,
stuff.
sure,
to,
yeah.
like,
So you
limit,
can
limit,
like.
acceleration. and
I'm
stuff.
guessing you can limit the speed, but I thought it'd also be funny. You can like limit the power curve. God damn it, this thing sucks.
no
now.
rap music.
Yeah, it's like a parental controls on
Yeah.
the podcast and the music and stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's a weird, wasteful time because
Yeah,
these
yeah.
companies like shift a lot of things.
Did we
around.
talk about that Ioniq 5N?
No,
I think I like mentioned it, but it was like before anyone had driven it.
Yeah,
And that's one of those cars. Just like every journalist is like, holy shit! Like this is the real
dude. People
deal.
really seem to like it.
Well,
I was
like-
right there with you. Like, I get it. Maybe it's a little overhyped, but
No,
I've watched
well,
some
like,
kinda-
but I think the thing is, like, I'm not surprised by what they say, but like, they're sort of ignoring like the reality of the situation, which is that like it's electric. Like everything is like this is so convincing, like it's so fun.
yeah.
It's like but it's $70,000.
Will people buy it? I
Yeah,
guess is
right.
the question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'd have to drive it, but
Well, like the thing is, like I can even see like driving it. Like this. It's
Nice.
Like, it's like every review. It's like. This thing, it feels so
changer.
natural. Like
Yeah.
you wouldn't even know it's electric. It's like go buy a fucking gas car. Then.
Yeah, who
like,
cares?
like
What are the
that's what I don't.
advantages?
It's like you're gonna spend that much money to like fool yourself.
yeah.
It's like maybe if it was like cheap,
I think for me, a brand new car for more than like 40s is kind of just a non-starter. Like, I just don't care how much money you have.
well, I guess what the thing that you notice is
it
like
better be nice. if
everything
you're
that they say about
spending-
the Ioniq 5N is the same thing they say about the Elantra, and it's like $30,000 less.
This is just as good as a Type R.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this is like
Yeah.
they did a great job. Like Beerman or whatever did a great job like engineering this thing for like fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you mean just getting a Elantra in?
Well, I just mean like, yeah, it's like it's a $65,000 car.
Why are you
that's
paying
like,
double
that's
for-
like that's like imitating a Focus ST or
Yeah.
something.
But
like,
I think it's pretty fast.
No,
No, it's like 600 horsepower or something.
yeah, it's fast like any electric car. They all have 600. I mean, like I guess the difference is like it's natural feeling and like feels.
The thing that changed, I don't know about changed, but made me start going like, okay, maybe this is actually good, is I like to watch, one of my kind of favorite car reviewers is Misha. Do you know that channel? Misha like Chowdrin or something?
I think I know.
It's
Is that
just
the Nürburgring one?
it's just laps on the Nürburgring.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's just people bring, it's kind of like smoking tire,
Yeah.
but on the fucking Nürburgring
Right.
rather than some LA
Right.
canyon road.
Yeah.
And so it's just usually it's cars that are like capable of doing that. It's
Right.
not going to be like, here's the new Elantra or whatever.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
going to be something fast enough, but it's just a competent driver fucking on the Nürburgring.
Yeah.
So watching the driving is fun. I don't really need to hear, you don't even need commentary.
Right.
It's like, let's just see how this thing is. But he got one.
Yeah.
Somebody brought him one,
Right.
and he was like, "This is you can." I mean, you can watch.
Yeah,
it.
I think I saw like a clip of it or something.
He seemed to really enjoy just driving the thing, and
Right.
he turned off all the like shifting.
All the fake stuff.
Yeah, because it's like that doesn't. The
Yeah.
shifting slows you down.
Right,
Like
right.
it's not
Yeah,
supposed
yeah.
to shift.
Yeah.
And so he was just sort of driving the car
Yeah.
with everything off, and he made it sound like this thing's a lot of fun. And they did 2 laps in a
Right.
row.
Yeah.
And my suspicion is, judging by the way he was acting, it just removing the powertrain. It just is fun to drive.
Right.
Yeah.
Like it actually just feels
Yeah,
fun
yeah.
to drive. Not like I can't believe it's an EV.
Yeah.
He never even really like
Mention that part.
talked about. Yeah, it's just sort of like the car itself
Yeah.
is actually fun to drive. And I'm guessing in ways that other cars aren't. I don't know. He
Yeah.
also has a plaid.
LS. Yeah.
A plaid review, and it's like I think maybe that one's different just because it's so fast. Those cars are fucking sweet. You can get one for like high 60s now. Like that has got to be the used deal of the fucking century.
Yeah.
But there's a segment on it where he's driving this plaid, which is because you can't really modify them, so it's like lightly gutted,
Yeah.
with like Recaros in it. Like those are the mods.
Yeah.
And he's in there with no helmet, wearing a fucking radio, with the owner's like girlfriend.
Yeah.
So it's the two of them, and he hits 306 kilometers an
Yeah.
hour
Jesus.
down like one
The
of the
long
I don't know
straight,
the
yeah.
fucking like
Yeah.
it's the
Flugschlag.
Yeah.
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 There's a really long
whatever
straight. Yeah,
the
really
segment.
long
It's
straight.
not even a straight.
Did you see
it's
when
not the straight.
Did you see that part when he got loose around like Schneider flash?
Yeah, it's like, and of course he's from the area,
four-wheel
so he's
drift.
all- But it's kind of you can get
Okay.
up to a high speed.
Yeah.
So he has 306, which is like
180.
190.
306, like 180 something.
Yeah, 300 is 186.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 306 is like what in a fucking just sedan. Like it's just fucking crazy how fast that thing is.
Yeah.
But his commentary in that isn't like, whoa, it's so fun to
Yeah,
drive.
he's just like, whoa. Yeah.
Yeah, where this feels like, okay, maybe they finally made
Yeah.
sort of the first hot hatch, essentially. I think that's why people are so, granted, maybe a little too excited, but it's
Right.
like, oh shit, a fun one.
Yeah.
Like this is actually
Yeah.
A fun
Yeah.
one that's not a Tesla.
I don't even think
A
'cause
fun
he's-
one that like costs the same as like an M2 or like
Yeah,
maybe an
I
M3,
guess I really don't know what it is because he's had a Model 3 Performance on there before.
Yeah.
And I think maybe they're just competent,
Yeah.
but there's something about this one where
Well,
they've
let's say,
allowed it to-
from what I've seen, everything just like this feels like so like what I
those parts
like
I know.
what I know.
don't care.
This is what I know
the
and
engine,
love.
it feels like it's shifting.
Like,
It's
you,
like,
you would
that's-
not even know this thing's
Yeah.
electric.
Yeah.
by
like,
driving it.
great. That's really interesting.
Yeah. Which that seemed to be like the biggest conclusion that I got. from
Yeah.
it, which
But I don't know. I mean,
which I don't doubt. Like I'm not saying that's incorrect.
I guess if you were eating like Impossible chicken nuggets,
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
and you were
yeah.
just like, fuck, legitimately, I can't tell.
I guess.
that kind of would be.
Yeah.
a big deal.
Well, I guess in either case, like it would have to come down to like you would need to think that like either the fake meat or the electric car is like better by nature.
Yeah, if
Like-
and maybe
But
if
like I need like
electricity is cheap there,
or, you know,
yeah.
it's like I need to be driving an electric car. and
Right.
This one feels like the cars that I like.
Right.
Like that's kind of what.
Yeah.
I think people are just excited because it is kind of a first.
Yeah.
There have been sort of
It's their-
like
it's their-
fun electric.
It's their
cars.
first impossible.
Yeah, but for whatever reason,
Yeah.
somebody finally made an Impossible Burger that actually.
Yeah.
Because I mean that is.
Well, I mean, I tasted an impossible. Have you had one?
No, I don't think I ever have.
I mean, like I only had like a piece or something. Like this is like a while back, and like it tasted like fine.
But could you tell it was meat? Would you rather?
I don't know.
have meat?
I don't know if I could tell, but like, why the fuck would I order it? That's what I mean. Like,
Yeah, what's the
I'm not
benefit?
opposed to eating a burger, so like, why would I fucking care? I guess
Yeah.
that was like my thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like with the Hyundai.
The original product's not.
Yeah, so
like,
I want a performance car, but I do not want a gas car. But I want it to feel like a gas car.
I'm just wondering if Hyundai could make a gas version of that. You know, I just don't think they could make a like 12-second quarter mile hot hatch
No way.
with like 600 horsepower and like I think that thing is just in a performance bracket. They just don't have the ability to do with a gas powered car.
No, it'd be crazy expensive.
Yeah, or they just don't have
I mean,
a motor.
I mean, pretty much like
that's-
BMW and Porsche are going to be the only ones that could.
right. It's like they've made something with the capabilities of like. I actually don't know how fast it is, but I'm just guessing like
Yeah.
the outgoing M3 or something.
Right.
in an EV and it's Hyundai.
Yeah.
It's like, I think that factors into a lot of the excitement. It's like, oh, fuck,
Yeah.
It's just different.
Right.
You know, I mean, the sentiment for so long was like, EVs are never going to be fun.
Yeah.
They're never going to be as good.
Yeah.
It's always going to be worse. Like, this is all, we're giving something up. It's only going to be worse. And I think that is why people are like, no, it's fine. Like, this is actually like legitimately.
It tastes real.
Yeah. It actually tastes real.
Yeah.
It is actually there. I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah.
But that Misha thing, that was what tipped me over the edge of like, okay, if this dude actually likes driving it, not because it's convincing him it's gas powered, just he likes the car, then maybe it's actually fun to drive.
Right. But like EVs are fun to drive in general to me.
Well, I know, that's what I mean when I'm saying like I don't actually understand why it's so fun to drive.
Yeah.
But a big part of me is like, I don't know.
But like imagine buying that as like a track car.
Yeah. I don't know. So in that video,
you could buy like a Miata and a fucking Model Y Performance or something for like what that costs.
Yeah. I guess I just don't know. In that video, he runs across just serendipitously another one.
Oh, really?
So they're like chasing each other, like on track. And the other guy was just like, yeah, this is like my 7th lap of the day.
Oh, really?
And he's just like, it's capable of it.
Yeah.
And it was like bone stock, none of the tires. I think that is sort of, there is something about like when you have an EV, it's like, yeah, floor it. Who gives a shit?
And also, fucking imagine the fucking resale value on that thing.
I wonder.
What do you think? What do you think one of those is going to be worth in like fall of 2026?
I think it just depends on how many they make, how many they sell.
29 grand.
No, I think if
31 grand.
If they actually move a lot of them, maybe, yeah. But if they're kind of rare, I don't know. I can't see people just like, that's the Hyundai to have.
Right.
It is interesting that they're the first company to really do it.
Yeah.
Like,
that's probably like the coolest part, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, before this, the coolest EV was basically the Model 3 Performance.
Yeah.
And that's always just been, I mean, I love those cars, but they're kind of sterile.
Well, there's a million of them.
And there's a million of them.
Yeah.
And so this is sort of the first one that's like, fun,
has some personality,
or at least it's a second one, whatever.
Right.
But I think it's just exciting where it's like, oh, it's possible. I guess it remains to be seen if it's possible to do without a bunch of like gimmicky shit.
Right.
Like, okay, so does every one of them now have to have like engine noises?
Yeah.
Like, is this the path forward?
Yeah.
Is this the gimmick that? Like, I guess I'm curious. What's the
if someone came up to you right now and said like, you can have a brand new Civic Type R, you can have a brand new one of those. What would you do?
I would take a Type R.
I think most people would.
What's the range on it?
It's like 200 miles or something.
Oh, is it that low?
Well, I mean, like it's heavy. It's like 5,000 pounds, and it's like tuned for performance, not for efficiency,
not for range.
Yeah.
I think that's a tough call for me. I think given the reality of the situation, I'd rather have a Type R. But I'm just imagining like, in a vacuum, if I'm not thinking about like selling it again.
Yeah. Well, if you're not thinking about what it's going to be worth 5 years.
Well, or any of that, or like the process of buying it. I think it's actually a tough call.
Yeah.
Because I still think EVs for daily drivers are just so good.
Yeah.
But a Type R.
Or whatever, for a $20,000 cheaper gasoline car of your choice.
Well, I don't think there's anything. There's just like nothing.
Golf R or whatever.
I would so much rather have a Type R than almost anything until you get into, I don't know.
I guess I think it's the same price as like an RS3 or something.
Yeah, I'd rather have an RS3. No. You mean the Hyundai?
Yeah.
I'd rather have an RS3 than a Type R, I think. And I'd rather have like a Dark Horse.
Yeah.
But cheaper than that, I don't, honestly. What else is there? Fucking
imagine
GTI
imagine choosing that Hyundai over a Dark Horse. I mean, I guess obviously they're totally different cars, but still, like, if you're dropping like 70 on a fucking like fun car,
it is that price. It's Dark Horse money.
Yeah. Well, it's also like loaded fucking M2.
Yeah.
Like maybe an M3.
You know what I have been fucking loving lately for YouTube videos is just watching Cars and Coffee pullouts.
Like crashes or just like
no, there are people who their whole channel is just going to Cars and Coffee and just filming
people.
Yeah.
Basically exactly what we did.
Yeah.
High school
25 years
Friday
ago.
nights.
Yeah.
Because nothing will like sober your perception of a car than fucking seeing it try to pull away aggressively
By an amateur.
by an amateur driver
Yeah.
versus like, okay, it's Instagram, it's fucking sunset on a mountain.
Yeah.
This thing is slammed.
Professional driver.
Professional lighting, whatever.
Yeah,
and then you
yeah.
see a video of it at noon
Yeah.
from far away,
Yeah.
pulling onto a street, and it's like bouncy.
It's not very flattering.
And there's
Yeah.
like trucks driving by on the highway like 50 feet away. It's not that loud, and it's not warmed up, so it's kind of like spitting some black smoke. Sort of. It's just like it's just so real. It's almost like voyeuristic or something. It's just like it's so satisfying because it's so honest. It's like this is actually
This is what you're getting.
yeah, and a lot of the kind of hyped up stuff just looks so lame. Like watching a 97 911 Targa. And it's not, you can barely hear it because it's like kind of quiet and just not fast. And it's pulling away in a straight line as the camera zooms in. So it doesn't even, hardly even looks like it's moving.
Yeah.
And he's like not even shifting that fast. It's just all this stuff where you get a real kind of sense of what cars are actually cool in person.
Well, trying to like capture presence through.
Yeah,
video.
where when you look, if you were to look at that car on a Bring a Trailer ad, it'd be like
parked in a garden.
or it'd be like a rolling shot on the highway.
Yeah.
Like, fuck, it looks so cool.
Yeah,
I've gotta get that purple 911. And then you see it leaving Cars and Coffee, and it just looks fucking lame and slow and like quiet, and like no one's filming it. It's just like a crowd of people pointing cell phones at stuff.
burnout.
That one cracks me up too. It'll be like a car is leaving and a crowd has gathered and it's like 20 cell phones pointed at the thing.
Yep.
It's like, who is going back to watch any of these videos?
They're just waiting for that crash.
You are.
Yeah, I guess
You're watching it.
yeah, I guess that's true. I don't think these people
The other people
putting it
are.
on YouTube.
Yeah, probably not. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I guess that's true. But it's just funny. It's like 20 cell phone shots, really? I mean, maybe that's true. They're waiting for it to crash.
Eat it,
Yeah.
Yeah. Come on, damn it.
please.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't even watch the fails. I just literally,
Damn.
it'll just be like
straight,
just
narrow.
an hour and a half of like pulling in and then leaving.
Damn.
It's like kind of like therapeutic videos.
Just
Honestly,
nice background noise.
yeah, honestly, in a lot of ways, that scratches the itch of owning a lot of those cars.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, I really want a Fox body. It's like, or you could just watch one, leave Cars and Coffee.
There it is.
It's like, oh, you know what? Maybe I don't need to own one.
I could do that with Gran Turismo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's never been easier to not own a car, to just sort of like think about it and look at other people's. Because, 20 years ago, how would you ever know anything about a C5 Z06? Yeah, you'd have the one magazine
But the
review.
one guy in town that you'd see every once
Yeah,
in a
there'd
while.
be like one in town, and now you can see
Endless
fucking
videos
every
from every angle.
color modification,
Yeah.
exhaust videos, reviews. I mean, you can just live. And like, really, there is no reason to own a lot of cars except for the ones that offer
A lot of people are saying the same thing about women these days. No, I mean, like, why would you have a girlfriend? Like, look at what you got.
any model.
Yeah.
As soon as there's sex bots,
Yeah. Done.
it's over.
VR goggles.
What do you mean as soon as? I'm pretty sure they're already a thing.
Yeah, it'd be funny to like use your robot to like drive your car on Cars and Coffee. I don't even.
My avatar.
It's not even people driving. Yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of like I'm surprised how entertaining they are, and how lame so much stuff looks. Truly, you should
Like
watch
cars,
it.
you mean? Like
Yeah,
cars in the wild.
Yeah, when you're seeing like a M3 kind of like rush a left turn because there's traffic coming, just kind of a real like lame look.
I think cars actually look cooler when they're like not in that kind of environment. Like if you just like see one like driving through downtown,
Just
or
cruising.
something,
Yeah.
you're like, oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something about the cars
Certain
and
cars-
coffee
certain cars.
environment
Yeah.
that just kind of strips it,
Unless the car's like truly wild.
unless it's so wild,
Or just like-
or just
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
just
So
so
it's like
kind of
barely running because it's so radical.
You see 5 like 2017 GTs in a row that are like straight pipe. That's like, well, I fucking never need to own one of those.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
That's what that thing looks like. I don't know. Maybe it's too brutal, but I really like it.
Acceleration.
I just what are we at time wise?
Probably we're over an hour, including the little mishap, the little laptop mishap.
Yeah, that was probably like 15 minutes.
Little opening.
One other thing that's been pissing me off since we're speaking of internet, mostly Reddit, but I think it happens elsewhere.
But yet you still keep doing it, whatever it is.
it doesn't.
That's like me and like looking at Jalopnik.
This
know,
is
yeah.
different than Jalopnik
Yeah.
because there is nothing
Guilty-
on Jalopnik
guilty
you
pleasure.
like.
That's true.
And there's
It's
a
like-
lot. I'm talking about
There's
the, like,
decent stuff sprinkled in.
Yeah, I'm talking about the like 30% of Reddit that I dislike.
Oh.
Maybe more like 50. But there's a lot where people will on like I'm thinking like car specific forums. So it could be a Corvette or Tesla or something where it's like just bought a C8. Like what should I know? And it's like that's the end.
You already
Yes.
bought it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like what are some tips?
Yeah.
Like it's just the most open-ended,
Yeah.
just worthless.
Yeah.
What should I know as a new owner?
Any insight?
Yeah, like what are like the tips about like just picked up a Model 3.
Should I drive it?
What should I know? It's
Yeah.
like what the fuck do you possibly
Yeah.
Well, if you open and close
Actually-
the door 5 times, the range increases by 600%.
Right.
Make sure you put the C8 into like Touring Plus.
Yeah,
mode.
here's a little secret that
Yeah.
nobody fucking like, what are some tips? What should a new owner
You'll actually get like the economy of a like eco mode.
Yeah,
and
like,
the
they
performance
don't
of
tell
track
you
mode.
this super secret thing. Just picked up a C7. What are some new tips for an owner?
Or going
Like,
to
just
the-
fucking drive the
I see a lot
car.
of those in like the Jeep thing too. It's like or
Got
it's
one.
like thinking about getting one.
What should a new owner
What should
know?
I do? Or what are some good mods you guys have done?
Thinking about
it's like
picking one
it's
up.
a fucking plug-in hybrid. Like you don't mod it up.
What should I look for? What should I just these fucking open and it's that would anger me enough, but it's most of what's posted on a
Yeah.
lot of it. Like just got one. What should I know?
Going to the menus. and
Tips for a new owner? It's like fucking
Always run
What?
93 octane.
Yeah, just I don't know what they're expecting. But then like if it's a new car, most of them are just like, okay, full PPF.
Yep.
First of all, you're gonna want a full PPF. I would love if people can comment on this or not. I am of the belief that getting a like full ceramic coating and fucking like PPF
Yeah.
or whatever at most gets you like 9 months of protection.
I see people
Or
like
something.
selling cars with it. You know, like,
Yeah.
here's my like 23 Type R, like has full PPF and blah blah blah.
like buying it, adding it, and flipping it like instantly.
not
No,
flipping
just
it,
selling
just
it
like
after
just
a
like
while.
just like kind of how I do.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
And it adds $0
yeah, like, it's like
in value.
and they'll like put the price and be like, your price is too high. They're like, yeah, but the car has full PPF.
Oh, look, I spent $6,000
Yeah.
when it was new. I mean, I've done ceramic coatings before. Like I put one on the Camry before
I would do it.
started
I would
driving
do it if there's something that worked for fucking brake dust. But other than that, I just don't really care.
This is like, and maybe there's some top secret version
Yeah.
that I don't have, but this is a ceramic coating.
Yeah.
I'm applying it correctly. I'm doing a full polish.
Full.
Yeah,
on
that
the
only,
car.
you only get like 6 months out of that, probably, right?
Yeah, and it's
Maybe
like
9.
it's like it wears off.
Yeah.
I don't see how people are like, oh, this lasts like 5 years. Like,
No.
there's no fucking way.
Yeah, last 5 years if you just let it sit in your garage. and
Yeah,
don't drive
there's
it.
no
Take it out-
fucking
take
way
it out
with
once a
regular
week, yeah.
use. And so maybe the paint protection film, but I'm just kind of the opinion that like I'll see someone who's like just picked it up from the ceramic coated, and the
Yeah.
picture is always like at the
I don't know, some, like,
detailer
crazy lights.
under those
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
hexagonal
lights.
fucking
Yeah.
lights. It's
Yeah.
like, look how shiny it
Yeah.
is. It's like, dude, months from now,
Yeah.
that's gonna
They're
be
gonna, like,
no
pull-
fucking
they're
different.
I would say if you drive it a week, it's gonna look like all dusty and shit.
well,
like that,
it gets dusty, but the whole thing is,
You hose it off.
it just like hoses off because it's got this coating. I can't. Please, someone comment if you spent the like $5,000.
On full PPF.
I did notice that my Type R supposedly had some like bullshit whatever that they put on it, like probably like their like super
Their ceramic
low
coating?
grade,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
That was
yeah.
like part of their original markup that they got rid of.
Yeah.
But I did notice, like, because I drove it back from LA, so I washed it the other day, and like all the bugs and shit like came off pretty easily, which I guess that's
that's
how
it is.
That's supposed to be the point of it.
Stuff kind of like doesn't bond to the surface.
Yeah,
It's this
but granted, that's like day one. Like,
truly.
Yeah.
I'm kind of thinking the way to do it now is just when you wash your car, you just use the spray on shit after the stuff that's only supposed to last like until your next wash.
Yeah.
Because it would be one thing if it was like $300.
Yeah.
But constantly people are like, I picked up a C8,
full
got full fucking, and literally they'll show the receipts and it's like $5,000 to $8,000.
I mean, it's a full wrap. I mean, it's a thin plastic vinyl.
PPF is a wrap,
Yeah.
and then ceramic coating,
Yeah.
which is really what I'm making fun of. The ceramic coating, I just don't buy it that it lasts that long. I'm curious.
That
about
costs
PPF.
$5,000 to do that. I would assume full PPF probably costs $5,000-6,000 because that's a lot of material.
A
And that's a
full
lot of
detail and
labor.
ceramic coat is a couple grand.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
you wrap the car, that's probably what gets you to the. But
Yeah.
they even do both. But I just can't.
I don't understand why you would do both.
Yeah, but then I don't even understand. It's like, well, now your car is gonna look like it's wrapped. It's not gonna have the luster of a clear coat.
Yeah.
I can tell when a car has been wrapped. It's fucking.
Yeah.
It's never gonna be as nice as paint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's like, well, paint protects the paint.
It
underneath.
protects
It's
the
like,
paint,
how, it's just the economics
It's
of
a
it.
nicer looking version of the bras, like the leather
Yeah,
bras
those were
that people
terrible.
used to put
but then
on it.
people put it on the entire car.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so that thing's getting all fucked up now.
Mm-hmm.
But now that thing's just kind of messed up for the next 5 years.
I just never had the
paint
energy.
Well,
Or,
vinyl like can heal itself, if you just
Does it?
Yeah. Like you can like cut a vinyl and then you put a heat gun on it and it just melts back together essentially. Like for small cuts.
I would love
like
for
small
someone to
chips.
just say, you know what? I spent $5,000. I kept the car for 10 years and it totally made a difference
Yeah.
for those 10 years. Because, when you see it resold, the market apparently
like
doesn't
nothing.
give a shit at all. Like,
Yeah.
great, dude.
I'd rather have a new one. Yeah.
Yeah, like that doesn't mean
You know what's funny?
anything.
I had the circuit hood on my Corolla, so I took it. I traded. I sold the car to CarMax.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you
So
took it
I
off.
put the
yeah.
stock hood back on, and I sold the.
Hood.
I put the circuit hood for sale, the painted, color matched circuit hood. I think I put it for like $1,200 or something, and I put it on like the GR Corolla like group.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I set set it in front of my garage, take a picture. So like the corners,
Yeah,
it's like
touching the
and
ground.
I was like, it's fucking worth nothing now. It's like, fuck you. Just seems like the others just like these like kind of like just pure like just fucking pricks.
Yeah, they're not even in the market.
Like
They're
it's like
just sorta
it's not for you then. Like okay, he's like it's worth nothing now that you fucking ruined it. Like imagine the chips that are on the corner of that. It's like really.
It's like I gently lean this up against the wall.
Seriously, yeah. It's like really.
It touched the ground. It's ruined.
Yeah, so I ended up just selling to this like local guy that I like know that's like already seen the car, like one of the guys that was at that Cars and Coffee thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
How much you get? Like $1,000?
I know. I sold it for
$800?
$1,000.
Yeah, that's fine.
Damn, he's gonna have to repaint. The
I know.
entire hood.
So it's ruined now that you did that. Like,
Yeah.
so one guy's like, I'll give you like $600 now that it's ruined. And I think he was being serious.
I'm sure he was.
Yeah.
Just checking out
Yeah.
if you're still there.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, what I was gonna say is like I just never really cared that much about like car care.
Yeah, I don't really care about like paint swirls and shit like that.
I really like.
I think it just feels like a
Restoring a
losing
kind of-
battle.
No,
like,
that's one reason
That's
why I
been
don't care
really
about
fun
it is
to me.
because I had the STI, which I owned for like 10 years. It was parked outside in apartment complexes. It was under like a canopy or
I think begging for a full
and
PPF.
when I got the Jeep, I like polished it out and I was like, oh, this paint looks brand fucking new now.
Yeah.
Like
It's
you can
really
you can
fun
like
for
really
old stuff.
correct.
Yeah.
I mean, especially in California because there's no salt and shit like that. But
Yeah, I like doing it to a car. Like the Camry, even though the ceramic coating sort of wore off, the paint still looks nice because I polished
you
the
put
entire
in
thing.
the effort to do it. Yeah.
And even when it's dirty, I'm like, yeah. the
I
paint
guess
looks
it would
nice.
make sense if you like live on the coast next to the ocean or live in the Midwest where there's it goes through harsh winters and salt
I don't
and
think it
stuff
ever
like
makes sense unless you just are down to constantly pay a detailer
yeah.
to just get after it. You mean a coating?
the PPF.
Oh.
I don't think a ceramic coating's worth it in any if spending $2,000 to have your car ceramic coated and it lasts 3 to 6 months.
I'm just curious because they're like the professional ones last for
I guess maybe if you had like a supercar or something.
years and
Maybe,
years.
yeah.
Yeah, I really don't know. It feels like that's kind of a new industry.
Yeah.
Maybe it is just such a new product.
It's also kind of weird because like it's not something that like shows up in photos.
Yeah, the
Apart from
photos are always funny. It's
Yeah.
like, look how shiny
yeah,
it
but
is.
apart from those ones that you meant, but it's
like,
not like
I
something you can really like
guess.
show off to other people. Like,
Yeah.
look at me. Like,
I
Yeah.
do notice how
Do you notice
shiny
how
it is.
you would paint it? Yeah.
Surely you
Can't see
notice.
any swirls.
Yeah, put a
Yeah.
light on it.
Yeah.
Put a bright light on it and see.
Hit it.
Yeah, one last thing I wanted to make fun of was when people use the term GT car, which basically means
It's more of a
anything that's not like an all-out.
the Integra
harsh-
Type S is more of a Grand
Yeah,
Tour.
it's more of a Grand Tour
Uh-huh.
where
The Type R is more of like a track
Type R is more of a
car.
track car.
Yeah.
That's basically the spectrum is Grand Tour. I mean, it's just I've seen that term used for all sorts of shit. And
Yeah.
it basically just means like it's comfortable, maybe.
It's more for Grand Tour.
Yeah, like those cars are supposed to be more of a Grand Tour. Like the Mustang's more of a Grand Tour now. So it's just, has there ever, I mean, sports car is already a worthless enough of a descriptor, but
Yeah.
has any manufacturer like used even the term Grand Tour in the last like 20 years or something? Outside of like Bentley.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I remember my dad had the BMW 5 GT.
Yeah, I guess that's true. It's just kind of funny how it's become a term. It's like an apologetic term for it not handling well enough.
It's more of a Grand Tour.
Like, well, it's a little bit softer, but this is a Grand Tour. It's like it's an
I kind of noticed with
X5.
cars that like I kind of only care about like the two sides of the spectrum. Like anything in between, I don't fucking care about.
What do you mean?
Like-
ultra luxury, or
Well, like if the car like rides like it's on air,
yeah,
you know, or it's just like, oh, this is fucking like if it rides like a
Yeah.
like an '80s like Cadillac or something, like okay, this is pretty sweet. Or like you just want it to be like stiff and handle.
Yeah.
Like I don't really care about like much of the stuff in between.
Yeah.
Or, like it's not notable in any way.
I think that is the stuff that is gonna age the worst too, because the
Where it's
whole
like where it's
reason,
like trying to like
yeah, because the whole reason it's somewhere in between is it's trying to cater to the uses of today, which is
Yeah.
like getting you to work and using current media to play through the, you know, it's just all like,
Yeah.
here's the gizmos you need for your
Yeah.
data. Like they're just sort of designed for the now.
yeah.
Where the timeless stuff is like, they didn't even put a radio in it, you know. It's like,
Right.
it's like, yeah, this is always going to be fun
Uh-huh.
because it was always just for driving. Where I think the stuff in the middle, I mean, I guess the really comfortable stuff will really not
Well, I
be
guess
worth anything.
Plus, part is
but-
like the roads like generally fucking suck. And like I don't think it really matters what kind of car you're in. Like,
Yeah.
are there cars that can like truly just like soak up like the shittiest fucking road?
Well,
dude?
like,
Yeah.
I'll just say this, like Honda's seats, like, you know, because we had a 22 Civic Sport
Yeah.
Touring, and then we traded in for the 24 CRV
Yeah.
Touring. And I know in like Goose's videos, they talked about how like Honda redesigned the seats to be way more comfortable and shit like that.
yeah,
Honda seats fucking suck, dude. Like when we take it on like 3 to 4 hour drives, like I'm a taller guy, but it's
Yeah.
like I have adequate leg room because I
both
sit
of- in
in
both
both
of
of them. You know,
Yeah.
I would sit in the passenger seat and stuff,
Yeah.
even in the driving seat when I'm driving. After like an hour and a half, I'm like constantly fidgeting. I don't know if you're
Right.
like this, like I'm just like readjusting, like my ass just isn't comfortable.
yeah.
But when we take the Jeep, like the weekend I bought the Jeep,
Yeah.
I drove 12 hours
Right.
in a day and a half. And it's like, it just,
Right.
I'm like not fatigued at all.
Yeah.
And that's not even the top of the line, quote unquote, luxury Jeep.
yeah,
So I don't know if it's just it has more padding or just the seat design is different. I don't know, but
yeah. I mean, I'm sure that's like two totally different classes of cars.
The suspension I rode in my friend's Sapphire,
Yeah,
which
that's
I
it.
don't think has air suspension, and so I guess it should have rode even nicer.
Yeah,
But truly, we went over some kind of rough road.
yeah.
And it was like the first thing I noticed was like, this is insane.
You don't feel
smooth.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just like
I'm not even talking about like the smoothness of the ride. I just mean,
But,
like,
but he just said like, are there truly
Yeah.
some cars
Oh,
that
yeah,
like
yeah.
soak up? I mean,
I think like Range Rovers are supposed to. I mean, they have air
yeah,
suspension.
there are certain cars I think air suspension plays a big role.
Yeah.
Where like you see it going over bumps.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, like,
Like,
you're
fuck,
saying,
I
like, you basically need a car.
barely
You
feel
need
that.
basically need like the Type R, like equivalent, like a super like a car that's like dedicated to riding smooth.
I think
Like you can't just like kind of like it rides really good.
Yeah.
Like you need something like they basically need to like go like all out on like
yes,
comfort.
I think it has to be, and it's generally pretty expensive.
Right.
I think that I shouldn't even mention it because I don't totally understand it, but I think it's Koni or Tokiko just came out with this new kind of like dual personality but passive shock absorber.
Yeah.
And that's what's in all the new Model 3s.
Oh, really?
But you can just also buy those shocks from
Yeah.
them. And it's that feels like the first thing where it's in that middle.
Yeah.
Where it's like, this is cheap cars
Can
can
be both.
have this.
Yeah.
And it acts a certain way over certain things.
Changes,
but like firms up over certain other things. Because otherwise I think you need to set out like, this is a 7 Series.
Right. Yeah.
We're going to use this very special type of adaptive suspension that is very soft.
Yeah.
That car was fucking wild, by the way. The
Sapphire.
Yeah.
Is he going to get the SUV?
I don't know. I doubt it. But he was kind of like, we should go for a ride really quick so I can like, forget how he put it, like recalibrate your sort of like
perception.
Your internals.
It was not warmed up. He basically just pulled it out of the garage at half charge and we went like 50 feet down the road and punched it. So I'm sure it gets even more violent.
Yeah.
But in the past, I've been like, oh, I don't really like fast EVs.
Yeah.
They don't feel good. And there was something about this that like was fun.
Really?
Yeah. Maybe because he was like, okay, I'm about to hit it.
Yeah.
He
And so I
warned you.
kind of like
Yeah, he braced.
Made yourself part of the
I
car.
like put my head into the back of the
Yeah.
headrest and like got ready. But it was pretty fun. I like that. I like that car a lot, except they're fucking expensive. They're 250 grand.
Not bad.
Just buy one when they
Cheap.
when that company goes under.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's hard not to laugh. It's that kind of acceleration like on a roller coaster
Yeah.
where your sort of reflex is to giggle.
Yeah.
It's not funny.
Right.
You just
So what the fuck?
your body just laughs.
Yeah.
And after
Natural
about
reaction.
like 60,
It's called
like
fun.
yeah, it's just like you just, like can't help it. Yeah, it was pretty funny. That thing is pretty wild. It's just like whatever, 1,200 horsepower, huge carbon ceramic brick. It's just kind of the ultimate sort of like road car. So
The ultimate grand tour.
It's all that is truly
Ultimate Grand
the
Tour.
ultimate grand tour.
Ultimate GT.
Yeah, I like that thing a lot. I think those would be really cool if they, because they totally could.
How much is an
depreciate.
Air? Like how much is a regular Air?
The cheapest one I think is 70,
Okay.
and then the kind of like fastish versions are like maybe 90 or 100,
Yeah.
and then that I know the Sapphire is 250, but I don't know if they make a couple of them. If those things get down to like low hundreds or like high 90s,
25 grand.
Low Hundies.
Yeah.
Top tip.
Fuck. One last thing. Sending you guys the screenshots of that. I didn't realize because I just C8 Z06s are just they've been so there's like 50 grand dealer markup. I just haven't even been looking at them.
Yeah.
But now apparently they
Willing to deal.
Yeah, I think they're making like 6,000 a year
Yeah.
or so. And so it's like pretty starting now and into the next year or two. It's
Yeah.
like these things are going to be sold at or below MSRP.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize MSRP was like 112,000.
Yeah.
I thought it was like 140.
Oh,
It's fucking cheap.
Yeah.
And I was looking at it and it's like base is totally fine.
Yeah. I would go the competition. pack,
I wouldn't
whatever.
even add anything.
Uh-huh.
The $112,000 version is totally fine.
Yeah.
And so those
what even are the like packages? Like what do you?
it's like interior niceness.
Oh, fuck
There's like
that.
1, 2, 3, and
Yeah.
so at the top level, you're
And that's
getting
just like materials.
It is material, but it's
not
also
even
like
like a
the more
nicer
aggressive
LED screen.
seats.
Yeah, okay.
I think maybe the infotainment gets bigger,
Yeah.
the stereo.
Speakers.
But
Yeah,
it's like you're driving that car for the
Yeah.
fucking.
It's a 2
It's
seat.
the same engine and transmission.
Yeah.
It's the same brakes unless you go carbon ceramic, which I wouldn't. And so it's like out of the box, I feel like there's totally a chance those things are going to get dipped down into like
90.
high 70s
Yeah.
for a used one. Like, it's coming.
Uh-huh.
You know, I kind of thought like, oh,
Start
C8,
saving up.
Z06 will just never, they'll always be in garages. I don't think so.
I'm
I
just
think,
picturing like the Game of Thrones, like winter is coming meme.
Dude, it's
Prepare
fucking...
yourself.
Start saving.
If you were trying to flip one, what's crazy too, if you do a nationwide Auto Trader search for a C8 Z06 and just scroll through them, it's like 80% of them have 400 miles.
Yeah.
It's just some fucking dude who thought he was going to flip this thing for profit.
Come on.
It's just, there's 700 for sale nationwide, and they've made about 7,000 of them. Yeah. 10% of them are for sale right now. Done. Within a year with 400 miles. Well, I had some memories.
Yeah.
And now a bunch of dudes are just about to get fucking wrecked. And they really, pretty sweet. But I really think like they're not going to slow down production.
No.
I think that is going to be.
They're all in.
As long as that motor ends up being reliable, which so far, I think by now is when you started to hear about like LS7 failures when that was new, or the GT350. Like there was like early reports of like,
lost my motor.
Oh fuck, some of these are blowing up. Yeah, and there was only like one. Remember there was this whole hubbub about like some guys blew up at like 50 miles or something.
Oh yeah.
But I haven't really been looking, but I haven't heard anything. Like, I mean, if that thing ends up being reliable, that is going to be the fucking car to have.
So set aside 112 and then $6,000 full PPF.
Yeah, full PPF. But yeah, I kind of think the one to have is whichever one has the lowest limits. Yeah, like just put street tires on it and the least downforce, and like it's already going to be way too much. So I don't know.
So I went from like ZR1 like coming out.
I think there's 2 models. I think there's a ZR1 and it's something even faster.
I need to go fast.
Yeah, I need even more. But I don't know. I just feel like the Z06 is clearly going to be the one to
Max.
Have. You just want kind of like the least technology.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, we'll see. Whatever.
Not me. I want the most.
I want everything. I want
all the
fully
cool
loaded.
Check all the
I like all the cool toys.
I want all the gizmos. Yeah. All right. Well, let's cut it there.
Sounds good.
Hope you guys enjoyed. Check out our in-depth
it's super in-depth.
Type R review
definitive
on Patreon.
Ultimate.
And we will see you next time.
Bye-bye.
See ya.